Starts today.
The test?
Fucking oath it does. 3 p.m. I think I'll be chucking that puppy on as soon as we finish this.
Yeah, that'll be on. You know what else starts today?
What?
The NRL trials.
Well, maybe.
What do you mean?
Well, they might be delayed
Why?
because of the player disagreements.
I don't think so. I think we'd know about it by now.
So I heard on the radio this morning.
Really?
Yep.
On what channel? Triple M?
On Triple M. Yep. They said that the players might be going on strike or something for the game, or delaying them, like making them like an hour late on purpose or something.
Okay.
Just to kind of stick it to them.
Watch this space.
Yeah. I think that because it just like stuffs up the broadcast.
No,
The ads and stuff.
yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah. So I think it's just kind of like a FU.
Yeah, like get it sorted.
Yeah.
Like we discussed on the pod a couple of weeks ago, I don't think they're asking for all that much. Like the players are just asking for like post-retirement care, like medical care.
Insurance,
essentially. Yeah, right? So surely the NRL will just get that sorted. Either way, I'm pumped. I'll have it. I've got work tonight, so
You'll be watching?
I'll be watching the test on one screen, and then the Tigers are actually playing tonight on the other screen.
That sounds fucking unreal. The Tigers are playing?
Tigers,
Who?
Warriors.
Stinker.
Try pick that. Literally try pick that.
Mate.
And also, it's like all the under-20s players. It's like we've got like 3 first graders playing.
Yeah.
So I don't care though. I'm absolutely ravenous for some rugby league.
I remember watching Royce Hunt last year in the from the Sharks, the front rower, play in the trials, and I was like, this guy's gone. Like
He's
I was
legit.
watching him, and I was watching him. He did a couple massive runs, like from the back fence. Like,
Wasn't that
charging?
Wasn't that
trial
Franklin Pele?
No. I think Franklin Pele plays for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, but I think he was at the Sharks.
Yeah, I don't think it was. I think it was Royce Hunt.
Okay.
Because then
I can't confidently say either way.
Because then Royce Hunt played later in the season, and then when he played and was on the team list, I was like, "Oh, I'm keen to see this guy play." And then when they had those injuries, and I put him in my Supercoach team, I was like, "No, this guy's gone." And he ended up winning me Supercoach.
Did he?
Yep, he came up with like 2 massive games.
Interesting.
Beast.
We need to talk about Supercoach later in the app.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll get into it.
Yeah, baby.
Marshall gets away. Marshall's still going. Marshall's got Richards coming up outside. Now inside.
All right, what's up, nerds? Welcome back to the Barflies podcast, episode 68 today, joined always by my good friend and comrade, Alexander Russell. How are you, mate?
I'm well, thank you. Very well. A little bounced, but good.
That's good.
Nonetheless, doing well. How are you?
Good, mate. Before we get into it today, I just want to say thank you to everyone for, watching and supporting the podcast as always. Every like and comment that you put on our Instagram and our
Follow.
TikTok and even just watching the YouTube and rating us on Spotify, it all really helps. So
Appreciate
it. It was a
Yeah.
big lift from our mates this week, which
Yeah.
we appreciated. So
We got a video currently at 22K views, about the headache.
look, am I fighting off paparazzi in Erskineville?
Yes.
Maybe.
Perhaps, possibly.
Possibly. That's undisclosed. Yeah, we had an Instagram video blow up.
Yeah.
20K views. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
We haven't even really put too much thought into it. It's just...
We are definitely riding the high, though. Again, we are smelling our own farts. We are loving what's going on. Okay?
Yeah.
We are loving it.
Yeah. If there's one thing that, I feel like it's pretty unanimous amongst podcasters. If there's one thing that you're good at, it is sniffing your own farts.
Oh, known for it. Very well known for it. So, look, we're lapping it up. And also, there's a bit of a, it's the scent of success, if I'm being perfectly honest. So, I'm enjoyed seeing that.
Well, I've got a bit of spring in my step this week.
Yeah, I got a bit of bounce.
Bit of tick.
But yeah, it was. I didn't realize how controversial it was that I've only ever had 2 headaches. My dad even said something to me about it.
What'd he say?
He was like, "Fucking, what's this bullshit?" And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, fucking, you only ever had 2 headaches. So what do you mean?" He's like, "What is that?" I was like, "It's true." And then so many people are like, "Are you sweet, dude?"
Yeah.
Like, no way. I've been questioned about it. I didn't realize it was such a big thing.
Yeah,
But I guess like, you know.
It's really like divided the people.
Yeah, but then some people have backed me up on it, so I was like, thank you very much. It's not just me.
Yeah, which is interesting.
Yeah.
I honestly was like, it's not that I didn't believe you, but I was just like, there's no way. Like, there's like, how? And I'm not someone who gets headaches that frequently. I probably get one like, I don't know, one every 2 months. Like pretty infrequently. Get probably 5 headaches a year, 6 headaches a year. Nothing crazy.
Yeah.
But even still, that's like a significant amount more than you, which just made me question.
Yeah. Well, I've had 2. So
can you put it down to anything? Anything you sort of do in your everyday life? I know you're a man who, you're a pretty sharp operator, mate. Keep your body in line for the most part.
Yeah, I don't know. What can I attribute having no headaches to? Just being constantly stressed. Just not chilling, not relaxing ever. Just too much head noise, too much going on.
So it just outweighs the...
Yeah,
that's fair.
Eliminates it.
Yeah, I get
eliminates the possibility.
I get you.
Yeah.
And then you just pass out and have like a 13-hour sleep.
Yeah,
and you're
exactly.
good. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I love it.
And that it usually happens to be the night before the podcast, which is excellent.
Yeah, well, I was late again today. Well, you know how I said I forgot the shoes that I had to bring for someone else to bring here? I thought I forgot them. And in my haste to leave this morning, I thought I forgot them, turned around, couldn't find them in the apartment, and then I went back down to the car, and they were in the car already.
Oh, nice.
So that was a moment of sheer brilliance from me. I was pretty stoked about that.
Yeah.
So then that made me 30, 40 minutes late to come here. So I was like, awesome.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I literally was about to go, I don't know if I'm going to turn around. Because I'd already gone like 10 minutes.
I wouldn't have turned. I already
went 10 minutes in the car and I was like, it's not like I can just come drop them. And I did say I would bring them. I did it. I made a pact.
Yeah.
And this person I'm giving them to, Mitro, he also has lent me a pair of shoes before for sport. Actually, he didn't lend me. He gave me a pair of basketball shoes.
Nice.
Because I was playing basketball and I was wearing Converses and he's like...
You got to sort that out.
And he's like, he watched me for like 2... Because they played in the same venue, but they were in a higher comp. And he's watching me. He's like, mate, like, I can't let you do this anymore. Yeah. And he brought me a pair of shoes and went... Don't wear your Converse anymore. He's like, that's fucked.
Yeah.
Doing that.
Yeah.
He's like, do you not like, are your feet not cooked? And I was like, no, they're all right. He's like, just wear these better. It was immediately better though.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, the Connies didn't hold up.
Did you have like a, like Mike-esque performance, but it was like Mitro? You're just like 4 inches taller and...
Yeah, well, I'd hoped that would have happened, but for some reason, it did not. I think... I was all defense playing basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clamps.
Clamps and just, playmaking. My shooting could do a little bit of work just quietly. I think, what was it? There was like, for the whole first half of the season, I just honestly couldn't make a shot. I'm not saying I was having a lot of shots anyway. I was probably having like 2 or 3 a game.
Yeah.
Pass first player, playing for the team. But I was not hitting a shot. And then one game I took 3 shots and one was a 3. And then I went boom, boom, like 2 mid-range jumpers, mate. Sunk them, 3 from 3 for the day. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
I was so stoked.
Yeah, nice.
Like hitting a 3-pointer in a basketball game, you feel good doing it.
That's legit.
I've watched it that's like my favorite bit I love in the NBA when they do dunks are awesome. I love a fat dunk, like when they jump over someone who is also 6'10" and then dunk it on them. Yeah. Looks sick. But there's something about like when they hit a really clutch 3 that is just different gravy, man. Yeah, it felt good.
Were they with Mitro shoes on?
They were with Mitro shoes on it. So maybe that was the catalyst.
It was like Mitro. It
was. Yeah. But I mean, like short. I do really like playing basketball, but I don't think I'm very good. It took me a while to figure out like the rules with defending. Like, because there's times you can make contact and there's times you can't. But you have to, like, stand your ground sometimes. Taking a charge. You're not taking your charges.
So you just stand there and cop it, right?
Yeah, so you just, you stand you get to the defensive position before the attacking player gets there and you just stand your ground. Yeah. And then they, knock you over. But mate, like the first time you do it, it's kind of like a bit scary, especially when it's someone bigger than you. You're like, because you can't put your arms up as well. Like you just kind of got to like just stand like this and just like take the full contact. And the first time you do it, you're like, oh, far out. But then you kind of get used to it, and you just like cop. You just got to cop it.
Yeah.
But that's a big. It's cool to watch when you see someone just like take, because it's also kind of like a clutch defensive move, because it's a turnover. You get the ball back straight away.
Yeah.
It's a foul. So yeah, awesome. Love a bit of b-ball.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
We used to go and play like me, Kane, and H. We used to go down to like, I think me and you did it one night as well. Just go and play like on a Monday arvo.
Yeah.
It's good to get a bit of a sweat on.
Yeah, good fitness as well. It's very similar to like playing futsal. Or something.
Totally.
And we never had subs, so you're just playing the whole game.
Yeah.
And you'd be gassed afterwards, but it was good fitness.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Fuck, I hate going off in any sport.
Yeah,
I
same.
hate it. If I could play the full game of every game in every sport, I absolutely would.
Well, in futsal, our team's first at the moment in futsal, but we have got subs. And although I don't like going off, I tell you what, it makes a difference, because we're versing teams that don't have any, and we usually have at least 2.
Yeah, that's also true.
And it like makes, because in futsal last week, it was probably still like 25, 26 degrees when we were playing at 7 o'clock at night, and it was hot, and the other team had 1 sub, and one of the guys on their team was like 69.
Yeah.
You know, like he was ancient.
Yeah.
So all the young fellas were doing a lot of running. He wasn't doing a lot. And it was a pretty close game, but in the second half, like they had no subs, so they were cooked.
Yeah.
And then we ended up like rolling them in the second half.
Yeah.
But it was like super tight game, and I thought, oh, this is gonna be like pretty like hectic. No subs, mate. Makes such like they couldn't run, even in futsal.
That's fair.
Scored a banging goal.
Yeah. What happened?
Mate. Oh, it was unreal. So a couple of weeks ago in futsal, this ball was bouncing in front of me over to my left foot, hit it on the volley, and it dips, hits the crossbar, doesn't go in. And I was rattled, because I was like, fuck, I should have scored. That would have been a hectic goal.
Beast, yeah.
So I've been thinking about that.
But not much more you can do there.
No, but I've been thinking about it, and it's been annoying me. Parallel thing happens in this game. Like the game that just follows over last week. Ball comes over the shoulder from the keeper throw, bounces on the volley, top bins.
Cross the keeper.
Cross the keeper, top bins. Whole futsal court. Ooh.
Beast.
And I was like, oh, I so want to celebrate, but it's such bad form to celebrate in futsal.
Yeah.
But I was just like, and one of my mates from work was watching as well, came to watch. And I was like, fuck yeah. Shit. And one of the guys in the team I'm mates with, who I also work with, and I scored it. And then he was like, fucking hell, mate. Like, that was such a good goal. And I was kind of like, tell everyone what you saw.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, tell everyone. Don't tell anyone, but like tell everyone.
Don't tell anyone how I missed the easiest 1-on-1 ever, but like just tell them about the really, really good goal.
Well, you know, peaks and troughs, mate.
No,
That's what we do.
We ride the hose and ride the lows and the highs.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
How was your night last night?
Good. Well, should we go love and hate?
No, not yet.
Recap. Well, I went and saw 2 shows in the last week, so I should start with the first one.
Yeah, you
I'll
should.
Start with, because I went to Dave Chappelle on Sunday.
Right.
And then
you saw him like at a show.
Yeah.
Right.
Not
I
on
thought
the
you like
street.
just saw him.
No.
I was like, weird that there wasn't a follow-up story to that. You just kind of mentioned it.
No, yeah, I was at his
okay.
show. It was on Sunday.
Sure.
It was on at the same time when Laneway was on, actually, so I could hear, not in the arena, but I could when we were walking, because it was at Kudos Bank Arena.
Yeah. So
you could hear from Sydney Showground from there. But it was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. Yeah, his show was like... So you couldn't take your phone in to begin with. So it was kind of weird. You were just like... We got there... I went with my mum, and we were there kind of early. And we were just kind of sitting around, and everyone was kind of came late. So we were just sitting around for like an hour, and we were like... Just like... And everyone in the whole arena was like kind of just sitting there and like talking to each other, because you couldn't be on your phone because it was locked away. So it took about like... I swear, like it took like 15 minutes for me to just kind of like... It was weird. It was like a weird like limbo period where you'd usually like go to check your phone or something if you were just waiting.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, me and mum chilling, having a chat. I really wanted to take a photo of him when he was on stage, but obviously couldn't. But yeah, the show was sick. Interesting crowd, very mixed people in the crowd in age and kind of orientation in general, which was kind of interesting.
Party bag.
Huh? Yeah.
Party bag.
Yeah, a bit of everyone there, which was cool. But the show itself was awesome. There was 3 warm-up acts before him. First guy, I can't remember his name, but he was really good. Jeff Ross. You know the roasts? You know the Comedy Central roasts? And that has like that bald white guy that's on all of them. And he had dreadlocks for a bit.
Not really, to be honest.
He was hilarious. He was like unreal.
Yeah.
Like so funny.
Yeah.
Then this guy called Dwayne Parnell. Anyway, but he used to also be on the Chappelle Show. And he was really funny. He was very different to what I thought he was going to be. He was very like animated and loud, but he was still good. And then Jeff Ross did like roasts of people on stage.
Yeah.
Like he brought random people from the crowd up and they were all on stage together and he just like would rip them. It was so funny. But this one guy who didn't even really get picked, he just like kind of pretended and walked up on stage and even he was like, Jeff Ross was like, I don't even fucking pick you, man. Like, what are you doing up here? And then he was trying to be like funny on stage and like trying to like he was just being a dick.
Yeah.
And everyone in the whole audience was kind of like off this bloke. And even when we were walking out, I could hear so many people going like, fuck, that guy in the blue shirt was a bit of an asshole.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
was he just like kind of a bit caught up in the like fact that it was a comedy?
No, yeah, this guy from the crowd. No, I think he was just trying to like be funny and like be the funny man on the stage. But it's like, mate, no one's paying to see you get up on stage, shut your mouth, and get roasted.
Yeah,
you
there's
know?
literally a way funnier guy right next to you.
Yeah, and like, and when he was doing it, like Jeff Ross just kept going like more and more and more in on him, like just ripped him like so good, and everyone was loving it when he was ripping this bloke because it was like sucked in, dude. Like,
Yeah, you're a nerd.
You're fully deserving this right now.
Yeah, totally.
You know, which was cool. But yeah, then when Dave Chappelle came on, it kind of went up a notch, and you can like tell like the level of, I don't know, expertise per se in the way that like a comedian, like if you see like local comedians and then you see, you know, people maybe who are national and then international level and then you have superstars, you know, because he's like a household name.
Yeah.
You know, and has been for 20 years or something. Yeah. So that was awesome to see him live. The jokes were, I think they kind of wrote the show, I think, to be somewhat, well, it's very edgy, but the jokes they kind of go for every group of person on the planet.
No one's safe.
No one's safe. So, and I think because he almost got cancelled, I think. And then.
What for?
I think he told a joke about, well, it was a joke / he made a comment in his show about trans people, and it kind of, and then Netflix employees did a walkout, and there was a bit of controversy about it.
Right.
And then as a result of him getting like in the US, there being like a bit of a movement against him. I think him and these other comedians started this show, which is kind of made to be like, I don't know. I feel like I was getting the vibe that was made to like kind of, it's like a comment. It's like them kind of ripping on, not cancel culture, but more like them kind of delving into a little bit in the show. But then also like just doing a good comedy routine.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
When I was watching it.
Okay.
But it was funny. But like, you know how, do you know how like if you're watching TV or a movie, and there's like a sex scene that comes on and you kind of like, you watch it with your parents, you're like, like obviously it's a bit awkward.
Yeah.
During the show, they were making so many jokes about like sex and whatnot. And I was like, my mum's like sitting next to me and then I would be laughing. I was like, no, what? No? So I thought that was kind of funny. I was trying not to, I was like, oh, no, just trying not to like, I don't know. It was just weird.
Yeah,
it was weird.
No, I getcha.
Because then she was kind of laughing. But I kind of feel like she might have been doing the same thing, like looking at me as well when it was happening.
Yeah.
But it was good fun. It was a good show.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, it was cool to see someone that I've really, really liked for a long time. Because I really like his old stand-up.
You're very passionate about like stand-up comedy.
Yeah, I love it. It's so good. There's so many good comics.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm not as passionate as you. My kind of time and interest go elsewhere. But like, I love live comedy.
Yeah,
it's so awesome.
It's
Every time like I think about it, or you know, I watch something, or I go see a show, I'm like, dude, I should do this more. Yeah, and it is supporting the arts.
Yeah, it's interesting though because his style is like not only has he's got like great one-liners and like his jokes like obviously pretty well written and whatnot, but the way he like tells them is quite like a cool way of telling like a story or a joke. Like he's got a really good storytelling style.
Yeah.
And then he kind of will do, because you know how like some comedians like do a lot of impressions and stuff.
Yeah.
But he doesn't really do like specific impressions. It's more like impressions of like impersonating characters through the story.
Okay.
Like being different people and talking in like a different voice, then switching back to him and like his point of view. So it's cool. It was interesting to see the way that he does it in person. Yeah, which is awesome. So
Yeah.
I loved it. But he like in the US, he'll just go to random comedy clubs and just like a random
up,
city and just rock up and do like a set.
Well, you got to keep the tool
Unannounced.
sharp, mate.
Yeah,
You gotta
exactly.
keep the tool sharp.
Which is sick though. Like imagine just go like
Yeah.
that doesn't really happen in Australia.
I
feel
think
like,
it
as
would
much.
probably, but like maybe not with like Carl Barron and stuff. But I feel like, and also the comedy scene over here probably not as big
Different,
as
very different.
different, and yeah, not as big. But like,
Well,
yeah, I remember even watching small like comedians. They're like, you've got to like they will do. I remember when we saw Will Gibb, right? He at the show we saw, he was like practicing material for his actual tour. Which is interesting. So you kind of like there's shows where they would use as like training almost.
Yeah. But it's funny how like even in the US, because there's so many big comedy clubs over there that you know you could be a comic on that circuit, and then if some big dog shows up, like you could just get someone just gets bumped in the pecking order and they can just walk on.
Yeah.
It's like it's pretty cool. Like imagine having that much clout for being funny that you could just walk into like a really famous comedy club in New York or whatever, and you could just do a set that night if you wanted to.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't even have to like tell them you're coming in. You just walk in and they'd be like, "Oh, Mr. Cody, good to see you again.
Welcome, mate. What time do you want to go on?"
Yeah, literally. So cool. So cool. But yeah, awesome.
Nice.
And then
Fred again.
Well, that's we bring back love and hate this week, and that's my love.
Okay, let's go with your love then.
I can't really like say the love later and then kind of do the whole story again.
Sure.
So my love this week is the Fred again hype.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not.
Also, sorry about the rain, if you can hear that.
Yeah. What about if we close that window or the door?
Yeah, we can close it.
They'll probably block out the sound.
Do you
second.
want to? No, you can keep talking. Do you want to start your Fred again story?
Okay, so I saw Fred again last night at the Horden Pavilion. I was lucky enough to get a ticket, unlike many, many, many people. It was actually an awesome show. The place was packed. First time going to the Horden Pavilion, actually.
How was it your first time at Horden Pavilion?
I've never been before.
I'm a Horden Pavilion hater, but
Yeah, I've never been before, but it was like pretty sick. Like the way that it was all set up, like the lights on stage was sick. Like it was like a big panel, but then it was just strips coming down, like light strips.
yeah.
Like his set was awesome.
Was there like a bunch of people like either on stage or like
behind him? There was like a massive amount of people behind him on stage.
Is that just free for all?
I don't know, dude. I have no idea. I was thinking that myself, but it looked really sick.
Yeah. I know when we saw Fortet at Enmore Theatre about like 5 years ago, me and Kane and Jack and stuff. And we were all like waiting for him to like come up on stage.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he because we were kind of like at the back. He walks into the middle of the DF and his decks were set up in the middle.
No way.
But we couldn't see them because of the angle we were on.
Oh.
And then like I don't know if it got raised as the show started or what, but once the show started, he's playing in the middle of Enmore Theatre on the ground
That's kinda
floor
cool.
with everyone surrounding him.
That's
it was awesome.
sick. Whoa.
Yeah, so maybe like a similar vibe sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, he was playing, mate, the tickets.
How much?
So this one, like, enjoying this hype because it's quite like an interesting thing. Like he's playing, like I've never really seen this much hype before for an artist, and like I enjoy his music. I wouldn't say like I listen to his songs every day, but like I was like, oh, I'm keen to see him if I can get a ticket, you know. And mate, people were buying tickets off like people were selling their tickets for like $300.
Oh yeah.
And they were $63.
Yeah, mate. People were
frothing.
Yeah, frothing. Foaming at the mouth.
Because it's a similar kind of hype thing to what maybe Fisher had a few years ago.
Yeah.
Kind of comparable level.
Yeah.
You know? And it's kind of a bit pop. Would you say poppy kind of music? It's like not pop music, but it's very
Yeah, he like incorporates elements of like pop music into it. He uses like like mainstream pop music in like his sets, right? Like I don't know much about this guy to be honest, but that's just my general consensus of him.
But awesome. His set was honestly it was so sick. But everyone was like had the phones out and stuff, so I could barely see him on stage because like there was a couple phones up, which I mean is annoying, but
so scat.
But it does look cool. Like when you do look back on it, and you just see like a sea of phones in front of all these lights. I don't know, but yeah, that show last night was sick. I ended up getting a bit sneaky slosh though. Yeah, a bit more slosh than I thought I was going to get.
Crept up on you.
I think because also I didn't have any water in that afternoon, so you know.
Did you?
Well,
eat?
I know when I was on this dance floor, like when we got there, like because we went to the Colorado with Ryan beforehand, and then like we had a couple drinks, blah blah blah. Got in there, bought some drinks, and I should have got a bottle of water as well to take with me. So I was just like so fucking thirsty by the time the show ended. I was like, oh my god, I'm dying. Right now.
You've been sweating as well.
Yeah. I had a white t-shirt on as well. Bit of a mistake by me.
Yeah,
the thing was fucking messy as fuck. There's like a photo. I saw a photo today, and there's just like a massive where like someone's knocked me, my drinks got knocked, and there's just a massive like puddle on my shirt, and it looks so fucking gross. I was like, oh dude, what the hell? But yeah, it was a super good show.
I think like the Fred Again thing for me, and I know if I went to Fred Again, I would probably have the best time. But there's something about the hype and the fact that everyone likes him that makes me want to not like him.
Tall poppy syndrome, mate.
Yeah, I'm not like I was about to say like I'm not like pushing this idea on other people as I literally say it on a podcast. But like I don't know, I'm just so not interested. I'm so not interested.
Is it because you don't want to seem like, oh yeah, like I don't listen to Fred Again that much. He's a bit mainstream for me. You know, like I'm just more into the more like underground music scene. You know, like being from the inner west and all. Like I got a pair of Salomons, so like I don't really listen to anything with over 1 million streams on Spotify. Doesn't really like suit me that well.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, partly that.
Yeah, bit of that, you reckon?
But I don't know. Maybe like subconsciously, there's a part of me that's like,
I'm better.
I just don't want to. I just don't want to like join the hype. I don't know.
Well, look, some things are just made to be enjoyed, mate. You know, it's like an action movie.
I definitely think it's interesting though how he's kind of like managed to push out of like the DJ scene or like the house tech scene into sort of like the mainstream scene where like everyone seems to like him now. Do you know what I mean?
That's like what Fisher did kind of.
Totally.
Like,
totally.
I don't know.
Yeah, I would absolutely equivalate this to...
But he's better than Fisher.
Yeah, totally.
And like, I mean, Fisher's sets and stuff are really fun if you ever see him, but I think he's a bit more legit maybe than Fisher.
Disclaimer, not comparing Fred Again to Fisher.
No.
Comparing the hype.
Comparing the hype,
to Fisher's hype.
Yeah. That's right.
Yes.
Correct. Yeah.
Because I would agree that Fred Again is obviously respectfully much more talented musician than Fisher. All right, shall we move on?
We shall.
Do you want to talk about the Colorado before we go on?
Huh? Oh, I was just gonna. Well, we kind of just end up skipping over it, but I think I kind of have been in a favorite pub limbo.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone's got their favorite pub that they like, not necessarily like club or like where they like to go out, but just like where you like to go.
Yeah.
Have 1 or 2 beers, maybe go home, punt a pub, or just in general.
1 or 2 or 4 to 6.
Yeah, like what's your favorite pub?
Or 8 to
What
10.
is your favorite pub, by the way?
Out here?
Yeah, or just in general.
I really liked Hardwood Bolo on the beaches.
Hardwood Bolo is epic.
That was probably my favorite pub.
I do like Hardwood Bolo also.
In saying that, probably Marrickville Bolo out here.
Yeah.
Probably my favorite.
Yeah. 2 Bolos was a great vibe.
I just love the vibe. They've got like such a different like character to them than other pubs. They feel so old.
Yeah.
That's why I liked working at Narrabeen Ari so much, I think, because it was just so old.
It had to... No, that place was ancient.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah, Hardwood Bolo definitely probably be my... I reckon just has always probably been in my top 3.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, recently, I've been in a bit of a limbo because I haven't really liked the Hilton that much. Like recently, I think it's since they redid it.
Yeah,
I liked it when it was old. When it was old and a bit like shit. Well, not shit, but like when it was old.
Yeah, when it was shit. Yeah,
had a bit of character to it, and it was like it was a bit dirty. It was old school, but it had character. It had flavor.
You could go in there and drink Tooheys Olds with the old toilet.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Exactly. But now, although it is super nice venue now, and like it looks really nice, but it feels a bit soulless. I've come to realize now.
I think so.
It just feels like they're trying to make a Maryvale venue.
And respectfully, it pulls a totally different crowd. It pulls such a different crowd, which I think is, again, the beauty of Hardwood Bolo and Bolos.
Well, it's all young people.
Bolos alike.
There's a lot of young people.
But it's like a
Hardwood
trendy
Bolo.
place to go now,
Where?
the Hilton.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas before, it was like you'd go there after soccer
Yeah. And like just run amok.
and get jugs.
Yeah.
But now it's not like I'm sure you can get jugs there, but it's not like I'd get a jug pub.
no.
It's like I'd get a Margie pub.
Yeah. And it's like plays kind of like DJs and
Yeah.
stuff there. Yeah. I don't know. I just haven't been digging it recently. But the Coleroy, mate, that place is great.
And that's not similar to the old school pubs.
No, it's not.
That's a different category.
Different category, and it is a Maryvale venue, but I do like it there. They have great. I mean, it's a little pricey, but they have great happy hour.
They do.
At a good time. Like it's not like 2 till 4. Like
You
some
don't-
places, it's 5 till 7.
Yeah.
And then on Friday and Saturdays, they have like 2 for 20 cocktails, and I think they do salsa. on
Like
Friday night.
how much of a no-brainer is that? 2 for 20 cocktails. Like how much are you really
week.
losing there?
On the weekend as well, like get people in because it's like a good spot to go if you're gonna go like I don't know to the city even or go to Manly or wherever you're gonna go out. Like go there, get blind, all right? Fucking murder a couple cockies,
Yeah.
put them back, put them away,
Yeah.
and then you just beeline 199 wherever you want to go, you know. And you're probably spending as much as you would even if you bought drinks at the bottle because it's like quite cheap in the
Yeah.
happy hour. I don't know. I really I like it, and I like the vibe it has. And it's even during the day. Like if you go for like me and Ryan had like a sneaky beer there, and then I even went there for a beer with my dad, and I went there before Dave Chappelle with my mum. Mate, I've been enjoying it recently.
Now that Ryan's back on the beaches, have you guys kind of been holding hands and like skipping everywhere together?
Yeah, we've been we went for a couple morning swims.
Budgie's out, I'm sure.
Yeah, he loves the budgies. I'm not a big budgie guy personally.
What?
Me?
I thought you were.
No, I'm not. I think
I'm calling Cap. I'm calling Cap.
No,
for
I'm
this.
not. It's because I'm self-conscious about my pins.
The pin situation.
Yeah.
Why would you
Well,
be self-conscious?
Multiple the pins.
Why would you be self-conscious about your pins?
I don't know. I just don't think they really look good in budgies, and I don't think I look good in budgies.
To be fair, I don't think any man in budgies, like no one's looking at a man in budgies and going, "Good call." Like,
True.
Do you think women around the world are going, "Look at that guy in budgies. He looks fucking awesome."
Yeah.
Like
To
they're
be-
not. That's
yeah,
not
they're
how
not.
it goes. And other guys aren't saying it either.
No.
I think it's more of like it's for yourself.
Yeah, but I personally don't like them. Not on other people, but on myself. I wouldn't wear them.
Okay. I need the viewers to help me out here. I could almost put money on you saying on this podcast that you wear budgies. Like when you go swimming and shit.
Underneath my boardies. Or when I did laps.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's different because that's like you can't wear boardies and swim laps. Like that's fucking weird. But I got this is so fucking lame, but I got okay, so I did have budgies and then I was like, oh, I don't really like them that much. So I got, like the swimming trunks thing. And they look fucking shit. But they do the job.
Dude, that's like what the weird kid would wear in your swim class when you're like 9.
Well, I am that weird kid and I'm wearing them as a 24-year-old with a swimming cap and goggles, baby. So let's go. And then completing 30 minutes, the worst freestyle you've ever seen in your life, mixed in with a couple of breaststroke laps. Shocking form. Getting overtaken by 75-year-old men with arthritis while drowning.
You gotta
Yeah.
keep, well, you know.
You
gotta
try
keep that body in
yeah,
order,
you
mate.
gotta try and blaze a temple, mate. You gotta try your best to stay fit.
Yeah. Dude, those old blokes that swim laps, toilers.
Mate.
They
and
just swim laps for hours.
And they go and go and go and go. And they literally, they're not going quick, but they just go forever. And they don't stop.
Do you reckon that because they've just been doing it probably for like 40 years?
Yeah.
Like every like 2 weeks, they're just like, oh, I'll just do one more. And then it just has eventually compounded
Pretty
into them
much.
doing like 250 laps.
Well, it's a hard thing to like develop swimming. Like you gotta, like you can't just be like, it's not like running where you could just go, okay, I'm just going to run 5Ks, which is a pretty standard run for most people, I'd say. Like that's a good running distance. Be like, all right, I'm going to run 5Ks. Most people speed or no, like fast or not fast, would be able to run 5Ks
Yes.
if they were like looking to get fit or like a base level.
No, I think you can. I mean, if you anyone can run. Like humans are designed to run. If you just run at your like threshold, you can run forever, essentially.
Yeah, but okay,
You're
but
not
with
gonna-
swimming, doesn't
No.
happen, mate.
No.
Because you're using every bit of your body as well, so you get so tired
Exhausted,
so quickly, and when you don't do it often, like you just build up, like you get like, and sometimes you like forget to stretch because you're like, oh, I'm in the water, like I don't need to stretch.
Yeah.
But you do. That's what I learned because I remember the
Right.
first time I tried to do laps, I just went in. I just was like, yep, rolled the shoulders over. Yep, ready to go.
Yeah.
I think I did 3 laps and I was getting like
Cramps.
cramps.
Yeah.
And I had to stop. So that taught me a little lesson.
Do you think? I don't know, I've noticed it at the pub. You know how some old people will literally, or like I would say most old people. I'm talking. I don't know. Let's say 60 plus. Toilers, codgers. They will just get a beer and they will sit down and often just like stare at the wall.
Yeah.
They'll just stare into space. Like if they're alone, like if their mates haven't rocked up yet or whatever, or you know, there's obviously people who go in and just sit there by themselves because they just do. It's their thing. And I always find it interesting that they just stare. Like they're not even necessarily watching the TV or punting or they're just sitting there with a beer and they're very content.
They're just thinking, mate.
And like, obviously our generation's different. We can't even go like 45 minutes out looking at our phones.
Yeah.
Do you think that perhaps with the swimming as well, particularly for these old blokes and old ladies alike, it's almost like meditative for them? Like it's very just like, but they're also exercising, but they're more chill with just like the kind of the boredom of it, I suppose, or like the...
Yeah, I guess, but you could say that for any exercise. Like if you go to the gym or you go swimming or you go running, like to a degree, like it is good for you mentally because you kind of focusing and you kind of just like, and then like not only but you feel great afterwards, but you know, you kind of, I don't know, in that moment when you're doing that exercise and you're focused, you're kind of quite content in a way because you're not thinking about other things that could be going on in your life. You're just kind of like,
That's true.
you're just in the action of doing whatever action it is, you know?
I suppose I was just thinking because older people, swimming is an ideal sport because it's not as stressful on the body as like running or...
They do like to stare into space though, don't they?
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Different times.
Should I do my hate?
Yeah, let's do it. 40 minutes in, we'll get on to
Sorry, I love and hate. So we did my love.
We brought it back.
We brought it back. We just did my Fred again one, the hype, which is my love this week. My hate, however, is you know the pram parking spots, the parent with pram parking spots.
Yeah.
I do have a bit of a problem with those personally.
Yeah. What's your issue with the pram parking?
My qualm with it is, so obviously people who have a disability don't like that's happened to them and they can't change that. Like that's a natural thing that's happened to them.
Yep.
So of course they 100% need the spots in the most convenient locations. However, parents have chosen to have these kids and they're taking up precious spots in the parks and they're always the best spots. And whenever it's busy, I'm always eyeing them up. I'm like, how would they know if I have a kid or not? How would they know? How the hell would they know?
I'm a literal child.
Yeah, I am. How could I not have a kid? But I'm kind of contemplating whether I should keep a car seat. Because that's the only way they could tell if they just looked in your car and went, oh, he's got a car seat.
What about when you come back to your car?
Yeah, true, but, you know.
What if you come back?
Who checks that? Who at the mall or whatever checks if you have how do you check if someone's a parent
even
or
the
not?
disabled spots. I guess
Well, disabled, you have the sticker. They have the
but
thing.
who checks? Who checks?
A Rangers will check that, but I don't know. At a mall, I don't know who checks that. But I don't know how do you verify from a car if you're a Ranger, if you're in a parent spot?
I suppose
Whether
if they
you have
see
a
you
pram
packing
or-
a car and like a mum with 3 kids who's now had to park in the deep end of the car park
That's true.
and is dragging these rugrats all the way up the top. What if she? Oh, I've got a story to tell after this.
You know,
She walks past you shaking her head. Then do you feel bad? How do you feel now?
well, no, I don't really feel that bad about it. To be fair, I don't know. It probably sounds super insensitive. Like, yeah, parents, they got to do stuff, whatever. I get that.
No.
But we've all got places to be.
Yeah.
We've all got things to do.
I got things to do, mate.
You know? Come on, man.
Yeah, no, I get it. Do you know what did happen to me the other day?
What?
So at work, we've got, male toilets, female toilets. We don't have a staff toilet at our work,
Righto.
but we have a disabled toilet right in the middle of the two other toilets.
Yeah.
So that's what the staff use. Because you go in, it's like literally just one singular toilet.
Yeah.
Obviously. So I've gone in there the other day. Mind you, I've come in for a day shift, so I've absolutely demolished a bacon and egg roll with a hash brown
Coffee.
and an oat flat white on my way in. So, give it 30, 45 minutes, I'm in trouble. I've gone to the bathroom. I've been in there for a while, maybe over 5, but less than 10 minutes.
Was it did you have to get your rigs off for this poo? Was it that extreme or no?
When take my shirt off?
No, when you have to do such when you go to the toilet and you're like, oh, this is hectic, and you got to the whole thing comes off. And you sitting there, and you're like, what's wrong with me?
I actually did that yesterday because I don't usually do it, but I saw it on Facebook. I was like, people do that. Yeah. And I was like, I'm gonna try it.
It's not frequent. I don't outwardly try and go and do it.
Yeah.
It just kind of happens.
It was also so hot yesterday.
Yeah.
So I was like, dude, this is...
Yeah. But yeah, sorry to derail your story.
Anyway, I went into the bathroom. I was probably in there for, let's say 8 minutes.
Mm.
And I've opened the door, and as I've come out, there's a guy sitting there in a wheelchair, just staring straight at the door.
Oh,
and I'm just
no.
going, I just felt like the worst human.
You dick.
I was like, I'm the worst.
Oh, no. What did you say?
I didn't say anything. I just kind of nodded and smiled at him, and then kind of just walked off.
Well, I would feel bad for that.
The only saving grace I did is I grabbed the tea towel out of my back pocket and dried my hands from washing them, which is what I always do. But I was kind of hoping that he would realize that I worked here.
Right. Maybe you could just say, I was just checking them.
I was in there
for
for
20
a while.
minutes.
Anyway, sorry to that guy.
Oh, that's grim.
Love and Hate this week brought back, obviously, Xander's opened the proceedings for this afternoon.
Thank you.
The people called for it. We brought it back. Mm-hmm. One of the most infamous segments on the Barflies podcast.
It
should never have left.
It was our longest running segment.
And it has returned.
Yeah.
And is instantly still the longest running segment.
Yeah.
Because I don't think anything took its place.
Yeah, we don't have anything. Yeah.
So I'll start with my love this week. It's kind of boring. I'm late to the party. My nan for Christmas got me an air fryer.
Shot nan.
Yeah, shot nan.
What a
Thing's
G.
awesome. Do you
How
have
good
one?
is it? My mum has one.
Yeah, so good.
She loves it.
Yeah.
She loves it.
Kind of annoying to clean, but other than that, so easy.
Oh.
And you don't have to wait for it to preheat or anything.
I know, it's just boom.
You just go in, bang, done, and it's literally done 10 minutes.
They're pretty hectic. What an invention.
Yeah.
What an invention.
And it's come late as well. Things like that to come on the scene so late.
You'd think they would already exist.
Right? Microwaves are how old? 20 years?
They have artificial intelligence. How'd they not make a microwave oven?
The air fryer only just nipped AI.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
What? Didn't turn my phone off.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, I'm going to go and turn my phone off.
Right.
Oh, I got these most stern look from Cody. Just holy shit.
Am I going to edit this part of the podcast? Maybe, if I remember to. I also might not. Xander went to put his phone on charge right before we started. We've had many a conversation about putting it on silent. And that was naughty.
That was so naughty.
I'll take it out your pay. It's fine. Damn. In my segment as well.
Yeah.
That was,
Yeah, that was rude.
I'll let it slide.
That was rude.
I'll let you off.
That was rude.
Strike two. My hate this week. Excuse me. My hate this week. I've noticed it a lot actually. It happens to me more often than I'd like.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of a niche one, so stay with me here.
We love a niche hate.
You're sort of walking. I happened to me the other day. I left a cafe.
Yep.
I'm walking towards. My car was at the mechanics. So I was going back to pick it up.
Yep.
And there was a guy at the bus stop, and we're on a path. There's 100 meters ahead of us, and there's no one on the path.
Mm.
This guy's turned and started walking. I've walked from behind him. He's standing at the bus stop. He hasn't seen me, but he's turned and started walking directly next to me. And I'm walking with I'm walking pretty fast.
Bit of vigor.
And he's walking at the exact same speed as me.
Maybe
he's got to either take over or pull in behind. It just feels so weird. It's just the two of you walking.
Because you're not mates.
No.
You're not chatting. Maybe he was trying to race you.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe he picked up a vibe from me as I walked out.
Mate,
He's like, I got this.
If
guy.
I was him or if I was you in that scenario, I would have gone into a light jog just to get away from you.
Yeah. I almost did, I think, with this. Because, again, I was like, I'm going to try and let him go in front. He didn't.
Well, that's on him because he's merging.
He's got to make the call.
He's merging. He's merging over into your lane. He obviously didn't check his blind spot on the footpath.
No.
Got to watch himself there.
So, if I had a horn, it would have been honked.
Oh, yeah. You should have just
yell
went
at
in real life, see what he'd done.
That probably would have made him stop.
Did you slow down or did you speed up?
I think I eventually sped up. Because I didn't want to slow down and then
footpath alpha.
For him to not, it's not a big deal.
There we go.
If I slowed down and pulled him behind him and he was not walking to the speed that I desired, I'd then just have to overtake him. So I was like, let me just get this out of the way.
I fucking hate when people are walking so slow.
Oh, that's annoying, isn't it?
Oh, mate. I know it's like such a universal comment, but God, it's annoying.
Just like footpath etiquette in general. Happens in Woolies as well.
Yeah, just people got no respect, mate. They got no respect.
Mm.
They got no spatial awareness.
No.
You know? It's annoying.
It is annoying.
I hate slow walkers. At uni, it does my head in.
Yeah.
Like walking on Central, from the Haymarket stop. And if the footpath's busy, but then everyone's walking slowly or they're on their phone, you're just like, oh my God, someone please get out of my way.
Yeah, no, I get you.
Respectfully. Horrible.
Sorry. I was just worried that the audio messed up then, but I think it's fine.
Yeah. It rattles me.
Yeah, dude. It's fucking annoying. Especially when there's like three of you walking next to each other on the path. It's like, dude, you can't take up this whole path.
And one's going to drop back.
Anyway, onwards.
All right. Let's scroll down, shall we?
Jeez, we're moving today.
What are we on? 48 minutes already.
Yeah.
That flew by. Okay. I was browsing on Instagram, as you do.
Yep.
The other day, or every day. And I think of note, Instagram page of note, Creatures of Manly. I don't think we've ever really discussed it. But this page...
No, we have. Remember the guy that was jumping off the...
Oh, we talked about him.
Yeah.
So we've brought it up before, and
Yeah.
I'm sure like a lot of people know, and if not, I'll give you some context. But Creatures of Manly is pretty much... This Instagram page started on the Northern Beaches. And it most of the videos of people, etc., on it are from the Manly area, but some are around the Northern Beaches.
Yeah.
But it's just pretty much, if you're not familiar with the page, Brown Cardigan, it's just kind of like battlers and kind of drunk people, like people doing kind of cooked stuff.
Yeah.
People take a video, take a photo of them, and they send them in.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, no one is safe.
No.
It's a lot more like Brown Cardigan kind of started like that, and now it's kind of, although there's still some good videos, but it's kind of not as...
It's petered out a little.
It's petered out a little bit from its heyday, but this is, mate, there's some rogue stuff that they put up there.
Yeah.
And just like, but also it'll just be like some old person going about their day like they usually would with like no idea that someone's like videoing them from like 150 meters away.
Yeah,
and now thousands of people have seen it.
Yeah.
Like, it's so, like, no, I was watching it the other day and like, it's so entertaining, but I was like, oh my God, like no one is safe on this page.
Oh, no.
You know?
No.
But I've been thoroughly enjoying it. And I kind of like how local it is. Because you kind of see it.
You
and
know
then,
where it is and stuff.
And you see like, and you'd be like, I've actually seen that guy before in Manly doing that.
Doing that.
But
Exactly.
there's one guy that's always on it. Well, there's two guys that, there's one guy that's always on it. And I've seen him before driving around in Manly, and he like sings on street corners, but like, it's not like he's kind of just, humming the tune. He's on the side of the road, like theatrically like performing.
Right.
And it is like kind of hectic when you see it. You're like, is this like kind of sweet?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Creatures of Manly, there's just like, they just get so many interesting characters to go on there. Like people in the Corso doing like really slosh stuff at 2 a.m. in the morning. Like,
Yeah. I think I kind of, to be honest, I think I unfollowed it.
You unfollowed it.
Yeah, I think I was culling like a lot of my Instagram because Instagram's so shit now. So I was just culling so much.
That's kind of one of the only pages I really like.
Yeah.
Is that.
I think I've just been a bit checked out of it. I don't know.
Fair
Don't know.
enough.
I just wasn't seeing it as much.
No,
It is great.
I enjoy it.
It is great.
I enjoy it.
No qualms with
Creatures of Manly. But I'm very because they have such a no one is safe,
Attitude. Yeah.
where if you're doing something silly, you're gonna get someone take a video. Like there's a good chance you end up. I'm very conscious of that in Manly now. Like if I'm doing something, I'm like, wait a second, I don't want to end. I literally don't want to end.
Yeah.
Like I would. That is like ultimate head noise is getting on Creatures of Manly.
Oh, dude.
Like that would be
because like everyone would see it as well.
Yeah, that would be. No.
Yeah.
Would be such big head noise. But also, it would be pretty funny if one of your mates ended up on there.
Yeah, I'm cringing at the thought.
I'm cringing at it, but also hilarious.
Yeah.
But check it out. Creatures of Manly, great page. Thoroughly enjoy it. Also, one note this week.
A news story from the Barflies podcast.
Yeah, news story. Something because this is actually
kind of relates to us.
We can actually talk about this because we have worked in this area.
Yeah.
So it happened this week, and I was like, wow, that's quite a development. And I thought we should maybe talk about it a little bit because I think it's quite good.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah.
But it is the new pokey law reform in New South Wales. If anyone's ever worked in pokies, you probably have seen some kind of sorry sights.
Yeah.
It's all well and good to have a little bit of fun, $20, $50 or whatever in the machine. Like that's happens, little bit of fun, but
tickle.
There's definitely some people that simply don't just have a little tickle.
No.
And these new pokey reforms are bringing in cashless pokey machines. So you can't play with cash anymore. And it's aimed at stopping money laundering and for gamblers to be able to better regulate how much they're using, and for pretty much it's supposed to help with reducing problem gambling. I don't know if anyone has ever done their RCG, which is like the gambling version of the RSA. It's the biggest waste you'll ever see in your life. It's literally just they literally just tell you the only thing you can do if someone wants to exclude themselves from the game machine. It's not like alcohol. If someone's obviously having too much, you can stop them. This is you actually can't do anything. You have to wait, which is it's like telling someone who's hooked on a drug, to go up to you and go, oh yeah, I've got a problem. I'm hooked on drugs, which is hard if you're an addict. It doesn't really happen. It's called self-exclusion, but it can't it literally it's hard to do. And
so what Xander's saying is you can't cut someone off from gambling. You can't
No.
stop them feeding pineapples into the pokies.
Yeah. So what this will so these laws and what I think's good is these cards will have a harder. It'll be stricter identification point checks.
Yeah.
And you have to link. You can only link one card to the account.
Yeah.
Right. And another thing that it has on it is that after 90 minutes, they're going to impose that people have to take a 15-minute break.
That's cool.
Which is interesting, which is cool, which I think is really good. And then it also has a loss limit. So if you lose a certain amount, if you lose a certain amount, you can't put any more money on it. And
That's
it has
awesome.
restrictions to it.
I didn't realize it was that deep.
But with the one card system, which I think is very good. So what that's going to mean, so say if, just say a person and their partner share an account and they both use this card and that card is both in their name. I think what will happen is if a gambling addict is using that card, I think the partner of whoever or the co-signer of the other card of that card will be able to self-exclude that person because it's also their money and they're technically in breach. I think that's going to open up that ability to do it.
So you'll be like a duo almost?
Yeah, because if it's in your
name. Does the
name,
card have to be co-signed?
No, but if the card is got two
people on it,
then that opens up I think that would open up a legal avenue for where people who are joined onto that card would be able to go, okay, they're using my card, that's therefore also my money in a shared account. I'm going to self-exclude that person.
Interesting.
Because they're in. That's, I think, I don't know if that'll actually be able to happen, but that is my kind of prediction of if they introduce these laws and people, because at the moment, people can't do that. If you have a partner who is a serious got a serious problem. You
Yeah.
can't stop them.
The pokies in New South Wales
Insane.
is absolutely out of control. I'm going to see if I can find that stat about.
Yeah.
So New South Wales, let me have a look.
Is this recording still?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at the time.
Oh, yeah.
Let me see if I can find it really quick while I'm here. So New South Wales is second to only Nevada as the most gambling machine packed state in the world, according to the report.
That's hectic.
The number of gambling machines in Australia is 198,000, and more than 95,000 of those are in New South Wales, who are only beaten by Nevada, who have 180,000.
Which is Las Vegas.
Yes.
For clarification.
So it's absolutely out of control. And I think, obviously, me and Xander done a lot of work in hospitality to the point where, we walk around pokey rooms and we see people who have been in there for 5 hours.
Piss themselves in the seat.
Yeah. And you're like, dude, your only thought is, you feel sorry for them.
Yeah.
That's kind of where you get to with this.
Yeah.
You know?
And then also, so the big thing about it, though, is reducing money laundering. Because the casino just got a massive fine for, pretty much letting people launder money through it in New South Wales.
Interesting.
But what it will mean, right? So if it does cut people's, if it does cut the amount of money going in the pokies, a good thing is clubs, pubs, etc. are going to have to find a way to actually make money without just, leeching on the people's serious gambling problem, which I think would be awesome because it could mean the live music scene in Sydney, like we guessed, could make a bit of a comeback.
Well, that's what I was saying because the pub I work at, 20 pokies maybe.
Yeah.
And granted they do, bring a lot of income into the business or whatever. But we have them only by necessity, right? It was the same at Narrabeen. And both big live music venues, which is so now knowing that moving forward, the pubs that I've worked at, or, the pub that I do work at is in good stead for the future. Whereas, you look at RSLs and things like that, or, big clubs that rely on pokies for these, these big
projects
clubs would have been built, these big clubs.
DYRSL.
Yeah, has literally been built
like a casino
on
in
pokies
there.
money, right?
Yeah.
So, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out over the next, when's this coming in next year?
Well, it's to do with the state election. So Dom Perrottet wants to bring it in for the election. Once he wins the election, he's going to bring in these laws, introduce them, or he wants to before even. Whereas the Labor guy who's going up against wants to just only do a trial and not just jump into it.
Interesting.
But
it's Perrottet that wants to.
Yeah, I think maybe if he thinks he's going to lose the election, he's doing this to try and win voters. But to be fair, mate, I'm all for it.
Sydney's on the up. Sydney on the up.
Well, this is off this article we looked up, so we just wanted a couple of stats just to explain it. So you got that one stat before. So in New South Wales, clubs and pubs are expected to rake in $7.5 million. Rake in. That's what I said. Right?
I thought you said rate.
No, rake in $7.5 billion from pokie machines. That is crazy. And it says that 52 to 57% of Australia's serious gambling harm is done through pokies. That's their kind of vice.
Okay.
Yeah, and and across Australia, they're responsible for 51% of gaming losses. Right? Guess how much? $13 billion a year.
Yeah.
In losses. Just average people. That it could be people who don't even have that money or people who do can't afford it. What's the old saying? You only gamble what you can afford to lose.
Yeah.
But
people don't.
I don't think Australia collectively, it's crazy to think that $13 billion every year is being lost through gambling. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane.
That's insane when you put it like that.
I honestly thought, whenever I think of, Australia's gambling issue, I always kind of think of sports betting. It's always kind of the first place my mind goes.
Yeah.
But it's totally not.
Well, okay.
In comparison to pokies.
Yeah.
But still an issue.
Will Tasmania have a system that they're going to roll out from 2024 where they'll set pre-limits of 100 per day, 500 per month, and 5,000 per year on pokie machines, which is, The limit thing's interesting because I feel like, yeah, that will definitely stop people from gambling on machines, but maybe they'll go somewhere else. But like that's pretty hectic limits. Like that's 5,000 a year. There's a lot of people that would drop that. I've seen people drop
in a night,
like quadruple that.
Hours, yeah.
Quadruple, like
yeah.
Serious money. So that's pretty crazy. That's kind of all I've got for you. I've got for everyone right now.
Mike.
That's kind of all we've researched. But I thought it was interesting to bring up and discuss because it's actually something from the news that we can talk about and know a little bit about.
Yeah. Well, it's also in our interest, right? Like,
yeah.
You know, not interest, interest in that. It affects us directly, obviously. So, but look, that's about us for, from those today. I think we will get into a bit of the back page. Just creeped over an hour.
Oh, cheeky. Couple little stoppages.
Oh, a couple little stoppages.
We don't mind that, though.
Staying for the NRL today, I had a little glance at Fox Sports News this morning. Brodie Croft couldn't make it in the NRL fame. Man of Steel.
Best player in the Super League.
Best player in the Super League first year. And he's just signed a 7-year deal with, I think it's with Salford. I think that's who he's playing
Salford
for.
FC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's signed till 2030, which is like pretty hectic.
Mate, good on him.
He must just be, because he'd be our age, right? He'd be about like 24.
Yeah. I think like he kind of got put up in a big, like playing for two massive clubs at such a young age. Hard to do.
Yeah.
Like playing for the Storm, expected to carry them when they're like a premiership winning team. Hard to do when you're 20.
Yeah.
And then go to the Broncos, a club in decline.
Yeah.
And then expected to also carry them as well.
Yeah.
Not easy to do. But maybe he could have a kind of Jackson Hastings like return. You know, do a couple of years over there, be a really, really strong competitor, really strong player, and then come back and, you know, put his mark on the NRL. Because Jackson Hastings, injured or suspended for a lot of last year, he was great when he played. The Tigers the worst team in the comp looked instantly better with him in it. They didn't look like the worst team in the comp when he played.
But, that's the thing, though. Like, I was thinking the same. I was like, well, he'll go over there for a couple of years and come back. He just signed a 7-year deal. That's his whole career. He's not coming back. If he sees out the deal, right? Like, he'll be 31 at the end of that.
Could come. Well, Josh Hodgson didn't come to Australia till he was about 30. He didn't come to the Raiders till late.
Hasn't he been at the Raiders since, like, 2016?
Yeah, he's kind of old, though. Or maybe he was 28 when he came over. But still, like, 31, it's like... You're at like the prime as a half, I'd say, at 31.
Yeah. It's 7 years. It's a long deal.
Like Darren Lockyer was probably peak when he was probably about 31. Yeah. JT, that's when they were all at their best. Cooper Cronk, etc. So I don't think that's necessarily like a bad thing.
I don't think it's a bad thing. I just thought it was interesting.
7 years is a big deal in footy.
Well, look at 25 as well.
And to be fair, in any sport, 7 years is a long time
He's
to be
25 actually, so he'll be coming back 32.
Okay,
if he does. But even still, I just thought it was interesting at 25, you'd be like, I've been over here for 1 year, grown up in Australia, I've been over in England for 1 year. And just being like, all right, I'm like, my family's going to settle here.
But maybe he's like, suck the pressure that coming to NRL and the media pressure. Like, imagine, like, if you're an NRL player, you'd be so scrutinised here playing in the comp. But then I feel like over there, you would not get as, you wouldn't be in the spotlight as much kind of thing.
Not at all. Not at all.
So, yeah.
Good for him.
Interesting.
Good for Brodie.
Yeah. The trials start tonight, you were saying?
Yep. Tigers playing tonight against the Warriors.
Sure are.
Let's see if anything else is on. I think the thing with the first week of the NRL trials is that everyone's sort of like the first graders don't play. Obviously, if you're, I'm really keen to see like all the young players for the Tigers play tonight.
Yeah, the rotation players.
But if you're a casual fan, I can't imagine you'd be too interested in outside of anyone.
The Maori Indigenous game is coming up as well.
Saturday.
Yep.
Mate,
and they're good. They actually have good teams this year, not like last year where it was kind of like they didn't have all the best players playing.
Yeah, I don't think any of the Roosters players are playing.
No.
Robbo's instantly just been like, no.
Well, they've just been cooked with injuries the last couple of years, so I think it's kind of fair enough.
Yeah.
And also, they're building to something
scary.
big this year.
Something scary.
I think mate, they're going to be... They usually build into the back end of the season, the Roosters. Like, that's kind of their thing. But I could see them starting this year pretty strong.
They've got to come out strong.
I'm not going to lie. I think, like, it'll be a tough year to try and get to a grand final from coming 6th or 5th or something.
Yeah.
Because you've got to play every game of the finals against super strong competition. Like, the competition is going to be super strong this year.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you want to be in that grand final, like, you want to got to be that top 4 because it's going to be a tough year to get through the final. Like, tougher than, it's already tough, but like the evenness of the comp this year, I think it's going to be pretty hard yakka.
Yeah, and Angus Crichton as well, just ruled out for the season.
Yeah.
Which is pretty sad. Hope he's all right. Best wishes to Angus.
Whatever
Whatever he's
indefinite.
going through.
Yeah.
Which just sucks to the Roosters because he's such a beast.
Yeah.
And New South Wales.
And he's like so liked by fans as well.
Yeah.
So hopefully he recovers. Hopefully he
Makes a return in due time.
gets the help he needs.
Trell Whiten, Jack Whiten and Latrell with a little bit of a scuff. I think it must have been just after we did the pod last week, which is annoying. That seems to happen a lot.
We always miss the headlines by like
A day.
or
Or
like
two.
we literally finish recording and something happens and
Yeah.
we're like, oh, we could have just talked about that.
Yeah.
But look, mate, who hasn't gotten a little drunk, little wrestle with their mates?
Yeah.
At 3 a.m.
Yeah.
You know, I think if their name's not Latrell Mitchell and Jack Whiten, I heard someone say this, but this is a quote from someone else. If their name wasn't Latrell Mitchell and Jack Whiten, the police wouldn't be called. Like,
Yeah.
no one would actually give a shit.
Yeah. No.
But it's just because they're big names and got recognised.
Yeah.
And also, them wrestling though is probably like hectic.
Well, they're big
Like
boys.
I wouldn't imagine it would be soft.
No.
You know, it might be soft and playful for them, but like I feel like for the rest of us, you'd be like, holy shit. So
Yeah.
I think I think if they probably had their time over again, they'd probably be like, oh yeah, probably shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
But I think like
It's a nothing story.
it's just like a nothing story. And then like the cops like pinning them to the Latrell to the ground and stuff. It was like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know, but we'll see because they're not talking about it yet. But I feel like after the All Stars game, I think you'll probably hear a bit more about it, and
Yeah,
I think
I
a bit
dunno,
more will
mate.
get said. I think when I saw that video, I was like, I reckon the police have a little bit of something to answer to for that. Like,
Yeah.
it's pretty hectic. I mean, I know he's a big guy, but yeah, pretty
Full
rough,
on,
pretty
full on.
rough treatment.
Yeah.
But yeah, seemed a bit like who cares?
Bit of a nothing story.
And like, you know, it's a nothing story when the dribblers at Fox don't even say anything, make it into anything bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so that's how I'm looking at
Yeah.
it.
Keen to see them throb this year.
Yeah.
Trellmit's in my Supercoach team, that's for sure.
A bit expensive for me at the moment, I reckon.
I just picked
Bunnies are, I don't know, they don't usually start well, I swear.
I'm a Trell man, mate.
I do love Trell.
Speaking of Supercoach, this is a comp call out. If you came for another Supercoach comp this year,
Yep. Yeah, message
us on Instagram.
Make sure you message us. We'll put it up on our story. But if you don't have Instagram or you don't follow us,
Yeah.
follow us. But also, if you're listening to this, you're like, I would love to play.
Yeah.
Make sure you message us as soon as you hear this so that we can put you on the list.
Yeah.
We can make the comp first in best dressed
Yeah.
scenario.
I can't remember if it's 12 or 20. We were full last year.
But it depends how many we get.
Yeah.
So,
If like only 3 people say they're keen, we probably just won't do it. So we'll see.
or we might just do it with the 3 of us. Who knows? To be honest,
that's actually a good point.
probably will. We can talk if we want to put some cash on the line.
Yeah.
If you do want to put cash on the line, let us know. Probably only be like $20.
Yeah, we'll sort something out.
Something out. Depends how many people we get. So, look, if you're hearing it, get involved.
Reach out.
And you got one more note here for the rugby league.
Just that the Mitchell Moses contract saga drags on. Can't really see him leaving under any circumstance. Really can't see him leaving.
They've lost a couple big players, so they've got. You'd presume they'd have a little bit of cap space.
Yeah. And I still think from Moses' perspective, he keeps saying he wants to win a comp. I still feel like from his perspective, at this point in time, Parramatta are more likely to win a comp than the Tigers in Mitchell Moses' remaining 6 or 7 years in the NRL, whatever he's got.
He's still pretty young.
Still pretty young. It's like 27 or 28,
Yeah.
I think. So
I think.
at least another 5 years in his prime, probably.
Yeah,
4 or 5.
I think I reckon he moves.
Well, he's only going to go to the Tigers if he leaves. They're the only other team in the running at the moment.
Well, people saying the Dogs. I reckon if he
because the Dogs signed the young guy and they pulled their Moses. They withdrew their Moses offer last week.
Okay. Well, I think he leaves. I reckon. Yeah.
Why do you reckon he leaves? What's that based on?
I just think like Parramatta have come fourth every year. They've made the grand final. They didn't win, and like after this year, I think if they don't even get in the top 4 this year, and then they don't go because they've got so many players signed up on big money, and like they want to keep those players, but obviously like Gutho costs a bomb. Dylan Brown costs a bomb. Moses costs a bomb. They're going to need to sign a pretty good hooker at some point if they actually want to win a comp.
Yeah.
Respectfully to Josh Hodgson because he's a little old in the tooth.
Yeah.
Madison's on a lot of money. Sean Lane's on pretty good coin as well. Penasini, they want to keep him. There's like a lot of parts to the Paulo.
RCG still there?
RCG. So they've got a really strong team, but they've got a lot of players on big money, and I just don't know.
It's just that Joey's there as well. Like the greatest halfback of all time is his coach.
Yeah.
Look, either way, I don't think anyone really
No,
knows.
I think Joey's at the Knights now.
What, he's back at the Knights?
Yeah,
as of
maybe.
when?
I don't think he's the Parramatta coach anymore, the Parramatta halves coach anymore.
Well, if he's not, that adds fuel to the fire.
But look, I don't know. I feel like he moves. I feel like he's been there for a while. They've had a good crack. They didn't do it. Sometimes it's best if they're going to rebuild, Gutho's the captain. He can't leave.
Yeah.
And Dylan Brown is a young talent, so they're not going to get rid of him. I reckon they'd get rid of Moses first.
Yeah.
And also Moses is going to go for Moses could get $1 million.
He's going to get 1.5 from the Tigers, apparently.
So, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe even if the Dragons ever let go of Ben Hunt, he could be a good replacement
For Para. Yeah.
Well, Para Dragons switch. That would actually be good. Maybe whenever
Well, you want Moses at the Drags?
Well, Ben Hunt's going to be 34 this year.
Is he that old?
Yeah, he's old. He's old. Older than you think.
He's still killing it.
Oh, he's killing it. But, I think he's got a couple good years left. But, to be honest, Ben Hunt would be a great signing for Parramatta.
But
this is all super speculative. This is pure NRL dribble.
This is straight dribble off the chain.
This is just I'm just thinking. I'm just thinking. What trades could work for teams. I actually reckon Ben Hunt Moses switch would actually be a good deal for both parties.
Yeah, if they're not going to keep Moses, Ben Hunt would be a good replacement for sure. I don't know.
Because plays 9, plays 7. Depending on where they'd want him to play, if they needed a hooker or if they needed a half who they could get on the market.
He'd go to the Tigers before he went to the Dragons.
Yeah,
All his
probably.
There, bro.
And then also you got Dragons got a pretty young 6. They need a 9.
Dude, Dragons, what's happening? Talatau Moan's out, right? Is Jack Bird going to play round 1?
I'm not sure. I think Jack Bird might be injured.
I think Jack Bird got injured. Talatau Moan's injured.
Cody Ramsey's injured.
Cody Ramsey's out.
I think Jack Bird will play 6.
Yeah,
he will.
Or
Jaden, or if not, that Jaden O'Sullivan.
I think it's
guy
just
will play.
Jaden Sullivan, yeah.
And then Sloan play fullback. I'm intrigued to see how the Dragons go this year.
Yeah.
We
need to sort. Jack said he's keen for a NRL special.
Nathan's also keen.
Ooh, maybe those two just do it.
Yeah, just leave them be. First time meeting each other.
Outsourced.
All right, boys, we want an hour and a half of good stuff, all right? Don't come out till you're finished.
Have they not met? They probably haven't.
No, they haven't.
Anyway.
Different circles, mate. Different ponds. Okay, more back page. Wow, we got a lot today. This has been a content-heavy episode.
Yep.
Really enjoying this.
What happens when we actually put our mind to it?
Yeah, fuck, we're prepared today. Geez, sniffing some farts again, are we?
You want to do the cricket live?
Cricket. The Border Gavaskar Trophy in India starts today. Simply pumped. Starts in about 15 minutes, so hopefully we can wrap this puppy up soon. Pumped for this. Much anticipated. I don't think Australia have been to India in 7 years, just with COVID and the way that the tours have worked out. India have been here twice. They've won twice. With some pretty sensational performances. All credit to them. Australia both times. Well, the first time we were missing Warner and Smith, so yeah, fair play. but they still played great. Second time, Australia simply choked, mate.
Not up to it.
Not up to it.
I'm scared.
What's the old saying? Catches win matches, man. That's what cost Australia when India here last time. So,
Yep.
you know, I also think that was kind of the moment that everyone went, okay, maybe Tim Payne's not the guy. Maybe
What
Tim-
happened?
He just made a lot of errors.
Right.
He did it in the Ashes, that Ashes series where they drew, and everyone was like, oh, you know, tight game. Like everyone made mistakes as well. So, you know, pressure of the environment, you can't take too much away from him. But then when India came here and he kind of faltered again,
Yeah.
I feel like that's when everyone kind of went, all right, well,
Sure.
red flag.
Yeah. Good thing Alex carries off one of the great summers with the gloves of all time.
I think he'll be very good. I think he'll be quite good over in India.
Seems like he's coming into his own a little
because
bit.
he's a good player of spin. He's a good sweeper of the ball.
Okay.
He has come into his own. You are right.
I'm going to talk about this pitch or what?
Yeah, so what happened? So there's a lot of speculation out that India have so obviously every team's home games and home stadiums, you know, provide them with benefits, right? It's advantageous to the home team. That's what gives cricket like a tactical edge when you play in certain areas in the world. You know, like Australia's wickets are flat, they're hard, they're bouncy. You know, they do a bit. It's like if it's very different to other places. You know, England, the ball swings around, very green, a lot of movement. You play in India or the subcontinent, you know, and the pitches they're dry, they crumble, they spin, they're low, they're slow. You know, every region is different, and you pick players based on that. But India have been accused, or like they're kind of accusing them of doctoring the pitch. So you can prepare a pitch a certain way, that's fine. But doctoring the pitch is not cricket, pardon the pun. So what they're saying is because Australia have a lot of left-handers, so they're keeping the pitch dry on that side to deteriorate quicker for when Australia's 5 of their 7 left-handed batsmen go out. Because in their top order, 5 of the batters are lefties. So they're accusing them of, well, like it's not really the team itself, but it's more like there's a lot of media chatter of like, that pretty much looks like straight pitch doctoring.
Do you think it is? I don't know how
I
it could
reckon,
not be, right?
I reckon
how could it
100%.
not be?
I reckon 100%.
Is anything actually going to happen? They're going to have to play on it, right?
Yeah, they'll play on it, but I feel like it just depends on the outcome of the game. I feel like because India is so powerful in the cricket world, I feel like they get away with more stuff. They kind of have there's this whole thing that they get away with more than a lot of other countries just because of their sheer size. So we'll see.
Okay.
But I think cracking series on the cards. I feel like it'll be a big test. You know what? Just my prediction, just out of pure favoritism, I'm going to go Australia 2-1, and I reckon Steve Smith. Watch the master at work. He's going to be crafty.
Yeah.
Watch him.
Yeah.
Top run scorer, Steve Smith. Top wicket taker. If Australia win, top wicket taker will be Nathan Lyon. And then player of the series probably be Steve Smith, I'd say, if they win.
What if India win?
I think you'll probably see. I think. I think Kohli's starting to come back in form, and he always plays well against us. Like, you know, he's not been good the last couple of years, but he's still he still
Big
has
game,
it
big
in him.
player, mate.
Yeah, so I'm a bit afraid of Kohli, and he's been in some pretty good form leading up to it.
And who's their best spin bowler?
Ashwin, he gives Australia absolute night terrors.
Does he play in the BBL?
No.
Okay, I don't know who that is.
He's an awesome bowler. He's actually he's a man-cad pioneer. That's also my prediction. I reckon you'll see a man-cad at some point, which I don't really like. And he's always been a big man-cadder, and he's quite like a personality per se.
Little snake.
But he's a crafty bowler, and he's very, very, very good.
Look, we don't condone gambling on this podcast, and if we do, we condone it responsible.
We condone responsible gambling.
We condone responsible gambling. Xander and I have put out many predictions in the past, most of which
Mate, the Australia series, I was bang on.
So
And I missed out from getting that right by 1 wicket. Rabada had 1 less wicket than Pat Cummins.
I'm just saying, if you're a smart man, you'd put $20 in your sports bet account and you'd listen to the Barflies podcast.
And we said, well, sniffing our own farts again, but probably about 80% of our NRL predictions came true.
Yeah.
We know our stuff.
Stay tuned for the NRL special. That's all I'll say.
Football, Man City, massive news over the last week. 100 alleged financial breaches of multiple different rules in the Premier League. And
is this in transfers, generally speaking?
I
actually don't really know.
I think it's sponsorship money. I think it's honestly, I was reading it, but there was such a list of breaches that I kind of can't remember them all.
Yeah,
but 100, and it's over a 10-year period. So massive. They had one previously where it was to do with UEFA financial fair play, and they only got a $10 million fine. And Mourinho said something that was kind of true. He's like, if they're not guilty, why are they paying a fine? Because if they're guilty, you know what I mean? If they're guilty, then why aren't they getting more done to them, getting kicked out of the competition?
Yeah.
Because they got kicked out, then they took it to the court of sport arbitration, and then they got let back overturned, but they still had to pay the fine.
Yeah.
I think the fine was more of an administration cost.
Yeah.
For taking it to the court.
Yeah.
However, yeah, massive. So, and it's in the Premier League's not investigating it. It did get investigated, but then it getting taken to an independent review panel where then they will hand down the recommendations for punishment. And that could be, it could be a fine, it could be reduction of points, it could be relegation, it could be all three. So you don't know.
Imagine they get relegated, bro.
Well, that's the thing. But if you've done that for so long, that means they've literally been cheating for 10 years.
Will they get stripped of their titles, or do they say that's
well, possibly they could get stripped of them. But that would be all right. Man United would win 3 titles then. But it's when you see that, and then you see how PSG aren't getting fined and whatnot.
Well, Chelsea spent $600 million.
Yeah, well, that as well. It's just
I don't get it.
I don't understand how that's affordable.
Yeah, it seems like you need to sit down and do half a day of research to figure out what's going on there.
Yeah, that's cooked.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know how you can blow that much money in a transfer window. That just seems, it seems almost, it's just bad for the game. It's not. It's bad for the game. It's bad for the transfer window because it's not. It just ruins it. It's like a couple of years ago when everyone started buying people for $100 million.
Yeah.
And now it's normal if you want a young gun who could be at your club for the next 8 years.
It's $50 mil.
It's it's for a Prem club, if they want to sign a top player, it's probably going to be anywhere from 90 to 100 million every time.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
Basketball,
massive moment yesterday. I've watched it. LeBron, all-time points leader. Wow.
Question at trivia last night was who was the previous all-time point scorer?
Did you get it right?
I couldn't remember his whole name, but I said Kareem.
Did you get a point?
No, I wasn't playing. I was just working.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah, I saw it on Instagram this morning.
The sky hook.
Yeah.
That was his shot.
What does that mean?
He just he literally would be kind of in the corner, and he would just kind of put his arm up like this, and he's 7 foot, and he would just put his arm up and do that.
Did
with
he
one
jump?
Hand. Kind of. It was a 1 foot. It was kind of like a floater, but he just kind of runs. It's he fades away and he just kind of does that, and it goes
No
in.
one can even get near it.
No.
I assume.
No, and it's away from the person. He just kind of throws his arm over and chucks it in.
Yeah, sick.
But yeah, massive moment. And it kind of ruined the flow of the game though, because what happened was LeBron hit it in the third quarter. There was 10 seconds left in the third quarter. Everyone clears the court. They have pretty much a presentation, with the commissioner of the NBA. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar comes down. They have photos, blah blah blah. LeBron mid-game does a speech. Then they that goes for 10 minutes. They all go off the field, and the Lakers were losing that game and coming back into it. They play the last 10 seconds. There's a 4-point gap going into the fourth quarter. they come out and they get rolled. they get rolled in the fourth quarter and they end up losing by like 7. And it's like that like break, I reckon, just completely fucked up the whole momentum that they were gaining. Like they were behind the whole game. They were coming back. And then they just like, they literally gave the team like OKC like another whole 10 minutes rest to regroup and figure out what they were going to do.
Yeah.
They so should have waited till after the match.
Yeah.
Yeah. I reckon it kind of ruined the game for them a bit.
Well,
Because like, yes, sick, you beat the point. Like, it was amazing that he beat the record.
it's a great like individual
feat.
achievement. Yeah.
But they needed that, like, I don't know, they needed that win because they're not in the playoffs contentions right now. And that's the team that's like ahead of them.
Right.
So as much as LeBron did need to do it that game because they probably had it all G'd up for him to do it, he definitely the Lakers as a team definitely needed to win that game.
What a weird
It was super strange. Like, I've not really seen anything like it before.
Okay.
It was odd. It was really odd.
Well, let's wrap this thing up because the cricket is about to start.
Yeah.
Music this week. Dude, this song plays my work all the time. Track. Jenny Becomes a Mum by Caroline
Can you
Rose.
sing it for me?
Yeah, later.
Okay. Damn.
I'll serenade you.
Can't wait. What kind of music is it? What kind of song is it?
Like pop.
Okay. All right. Keen to wrap the ears around that one.
Oh, yeah.
Get a listening, get a grooving. Is that everything?
We're done here.
Wow, what an episode.
It felt like 4 hours.
Yeah, that felt. It was only an hour and a half. Plenty for you guys in this one to dissect.
Yeah. Reach out, send us any messages, questions.
Yeah,
DMs.
thanks for listening. Remember, give us a follow, give us a like, give us a subscribe. It's all appreciated. We appreciate you guys for listening. Thank you very much. I'm Alexander.
My name's Cody.
And we'll see you guys later.